If you've been looking for a summer dress that is both adorable and surprisingly easy to sew, I think you're going to love this one. Today we are making the Angie Crossback Dress. It features its signature crossback design, adjustable shoulder buttons, and a comfortable elastic back, and a softly gathered skirt. Whether you're sewing it for everyday adventures, birthdays, or sunny family outings, I'll guide you through every step with plenty of helpful tips along the way. If you'd like to sew along with me, you will find the PDF pattern linked in the description below on Etsy. I've also included an exclusive YouTube discount code, so gather your fabric and let's get started. Let's begin by cutting all your fabric pieces using the pattern layout as your guide. Take your time here, a careful cut makes the rest of the project much easier. Before moving on, double check that you've cut every bodice, skirt, waistband, lining piece, and your elastic. It's much easier to spot missing pieces now than halfway through the project. Transfer all your notches, button and buttonhole markings, and the center marks onto your fabric. These little markings will help everything line up neatly as we sew. Stay stitched around the neckline and the curved crossback openings on both the main fabric and the lining. Although it takes a minute, it helps these curved edges keep the shape while you're sewing. Fuse a small square of lightweight interfacing behind every button and buttonhole position. This extra step helps prevent the fabric from stretching and keeps the closure looking neat over time. Now press the four lines on the back waistband pieces. Then press the side and the waist seam allowance on the front and the back bodice pieces using the pattern markings. Preparing these folds now make the bodice much easier to assemble later. Finish the raw edges of the skirt side seams with your serger or zigzag stitch. Once this is done, you're ready to start sewing the bodice. Let's sew the bodice together. Place the front and the back bodice pieces right sides together and sew the side seams. Stop exactly at the seam allowance mark. Leave the folded seam allowance unstitched because you will use that opening to attach the waistband later. Repeat the same step for the lining, then press the seams open. Place the main bodice and the lining right sides together. Sew all the way around the neckline and both armholes. Leave the waist edge open. Now it's time to reduce some bulk. Trim the seam allowance. Grade the layers so they sit nicely inside each other. Clip the inside curves and notch the outside curves. It only takes a few extra minutes, but it makes a huge difference to the finished shape. Turn the bodice right side out. Use a blunt tool to gently shape the corners and smooth out the curves. Understitch the seam allowance to the lining wherever you can comfortably reach. This helps keep the lining tucked neatly inside the dress instead of rolling towards the outside. Then give everything a really good press. If the edges aren't perfectly flat yet, don't worry. A careful press usually works wonders. Your bodice is now ready. Sew the waistband side pieces to the center waistband. Repeat for the lining. And press the seams open so everything lies nicely and flat. I'm quickly marking the stitching lines on both the waistband side seam and the crossback straps waistline. It's a simple step, but it gives me a precise guide when positioning the straps. Place the waistband main fabric and lining right sides together. I'm using the main fabric for both layers, so if a tiny bit shows around the elastic opening, it still looks beautifully finished. Now sandwich one crossback strap inside each waistband side. Before sewing, double check that both straps are sitting evenly. Getting them lined up now gives the finished dress a beautifully balanced look. Sew across the waistband from one side seam to the other. Stop exactly at the side seam. Leave the seam allowances free. Those openings are needed for the next step, so it's worth checking before moving on. Now turn the waistband right side out, then give it a really good press, especially around the side seams. A crisp press makes the waistband much easier to attach neatly. Now tuck the waistband seam allowances inside the front bodice. At the same time, tuck the bodice side seam between the main fabric and the lining. Once everything is sitting neatly inside, sew the waistband to the bodice at each side seam. Secure the elastic to both sides of the waistband. Sew back and forth a few times to give it a strong, durable hold. Now close the waistband by stitching along the folded edge. This encloses the elastic neatly inside. As you sew, make sure you don't accidentally catch the elastic. And just like that, your bodice is complete. If the tutorial has been helpful so far, I'd really appreciate a quick like. It helps more sewists discover these free tutorials. Let's prepare the front skirt. Sew 2 rows of gathering stitches across the front waist edge. Then gently pull the thread until the skirt matches the width of the front bodice. Repeat for the lining. Using 2 rows of gathering stitches help keep the gathers nice and even. For the back skirt, sew your gathering stitches only between the side seams and the side notches. Gather each side until it matches the waistband sides. Repeat for the lining. Before moving on, spread the gathers evenly so there aren't any bulky sections. Now sew the front and the back skirts together at the side seams. Start sewing from the waist and work your way down towards the hem. That helps keep the waist edge lined up nicely. Repeat for the lining, and now your skirt is ready. If you're enjoying sewing with me, don't forget to subscribe. I share new sewing patterns and tutorials every week. Turn the main skirt inside out and keep the bodice right side out. Slide the bodice inside the skirt so the main fabrics are right sides together. Match the side seams, center front, center back, and gathering notches. As you pin the back, gently stretch the waistband elastic so everything lines up evenly. Now take the lining, keep it right side out, and slide it inside the main skirt. The bodice will now be sandwiched between the 2 skirt layers. Match all the seams and the notches again. Before sewing, take one last look to make sure none of the layers have twisted. It's a quick check that can save a lot of time later. Sew the 3 layers together in one pass. Trim the seam allowance. Finish the raw edge with your serger or zigzag stitch. Now turn the dress right side down. Everything is finally coming together now. Sew the prepared hems on both the main skirt and the lining. Then give the hems one final press. That crisp finish really makes the dress look polished. Sew the buttonholes onto the front shoulder tabs, then attach the buttons to the back straps. And that's it, your Angie Crossback dress is finished. I hope you enjoyed sewing along with me and found the process enjoyable from start to finish. If you'd like to make this dress, you'll find the Etsy pattern link below along with the YouTube discount code. Thank you so much for sewing with Litelier. I'll see you in the next tutorial. Bye!